History often remembers the transatlantic slave trade, millions of Africans torn from their homes, shipped across the Atlantic. It's a dark chapter etched in our collective memory. But there's another story, equally tragic, often forgotten: the Arab-Muslim slave trade. This trade, spanning centuries, impacted millions across Africa, Asia and Europe. It's a history we must confront, understand and learn from. This isn't about hating Arabs or Islam. It's about acknowledging a painful truth, often hidden in the shadows. We must explore this history, not to judge the past, but to illuminate the present. By understanding the Arab-Muslim slave trade, we gain a deeper understanding of global history and the complexities of human behavior. The Arab-Muslim slave trade, unlike the transatlantic trade, wasn't just about plantations. It spanned continents, fueled by demand for soldiers, servants and concubines. This trade began in the 7th century with the expansion of the Muslim world. It stretched across North, East and West Africa, the Middle East and into Europe. Arab traders using camel caravans and ships traversed vast distances. They ventured deep into West and Eastern Africa, exchanging goods for human lives. The Sahara Desert, a formidable barrier, became a highway for this trade. Imagine the suffering, the countless journeys made under a scorching sun. This wasn't just about numbers, it was about individual lives, shattered families torn apart. Behind the statistics lie individual stories, each a testament to human resilience and cruelty. The Arabs did not randomly go into Africa and enslave any black people they could find. They raided East and West Africa specifically, looking for a specific group of black slaves. These blacks were known as the Jews of the Bilad al-Sudan. Ibn Khaldun, who lived in the 13th century, a respected authority on Berber history, testified about the black Jews of Western Sudan with whom he personally interacted. Also, the famous Muslim geographer Al-Idrisi, born in Ceuta, Spain in the 12th century, wrote extensively about Jewish Negroes in the Western Sudan. The Jews of the Bilad al-Sudan, the Arab term for land of the blacks, migrated to West Africa after 70 AD and the fall of the Roman Empire in 476 AD. Black Jews were fully integrated and achieved preeminence in many West African kingdoms. For instance, Jews were believed to have settled in great West African empires such as Songhai, Mali, Ghana and Kanem-Bornu empires. According to numerous accounts of contemporary visitors to the region, several rulers and administrators of the Songhai Empire were of Negro Jewish origins, until Askia Muhammad came to power in 1492 and decreed that all Jews either convert to Islam or leave the region. Women, often young girls, faced a different horror. Taken as concubines, they were forced into sexual slavery. Young men and boys were castrated like animals so they would not be a threat to the Arab women or the slave masters' concubines. Their stories, often untold, are a stark reminder of the trade's brutality. These weren't just numbers in a ledger, they were fathers, sons, brothers, daughters, mothers, sisters, stripped of their dignity and freedom. Why is this history often overlooked? One reason is the focus on the transatlantic slave trade. Its scale, its impact on the Americas, understandably dominates many narratives. But this shouldn't diminish the suffering caused by the Arab-Muslim slave trade. Another reason is the complex relationship between this history and modern identities. Some fear that acknowledging this past might fuel prejudice. However, ignoring history doesn't erase its consequences. Open dialogue, sensitive but honest, is crucial. We must learn from the past, not bury it. The Arab-Muslim slave trade cast a long shadow. It shaped demographics, economies and cultures across continents. The Arab world still grapples with its legacy. Social hierarchies, racial prejudices, rooted in this era, persist. In Africa, the impact is profound. The loss of millions, particularly young men and women, disrupted societies and economies. The psychological scars of this trade, the dehumanization, the loss of identity, still resonate. Remembering this history isn't about assigning blame or hating Arabs. It's about understanding the complexities of the past, acknowledging the suffering inflicted. It's about learning from the mistakes of our ancestors, ensuring they aren't repeated. By shining a light on this often forgotten history, we honor the victims. We acknowledge their resilience, their humanity, and we commit to building a future where such atrocities are never again tolerated. Remember their stories, remember their strength, remember so that we can do better.